Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of our podcast. And hi, Aditi. Today we have
Hello.
Aditi Das with us. Hello, Aditi. Aditi, as you know, we are a podcast. We are from Project C Foundation, and we have started something called as the C Podcast, where we just try to understand people's journey, how exactly they have come up or coped up with different kind of issues they've had, especially with mental health. So we discuss about that, and we make sure that people like you come forward, share their story, so that others can get inspired, and the taboo that's surrounded with mental health, I'm sure that will reduce day by day, at least something or the other, so that our society completely becomes mental health taboo free. So with that, hi Aditi, welcome to the C podcast again.
Happy
And
to be here.
right, same here. So I just want you to get yourself introduced to our audience. So could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Okay, so hello, my name is Aditi Das. I am now 20 years old, to turn 21 in December. I am a
Oh,
college student right now, and I wanted to share about my journey and how I have been, coping with depression and general loneliness, etc., through my story. I hope it helps.
right, it definitely will. Aditi, you told that you're going to turn 21 in this December, right?
Yes, my
Oh, okay.
birthday is in December 8th. So
Oh, okay.
it's a bit
My, I,
there, like we have around 2 months.
all right. I also am from. I have my date. I mean, my birth month is also December. So yeah, something
Ooh,
common.
cool.
Right. All right. So I think now the conversation will go fine since we are both born in December. I have this
Yeah,
special connection with people.
definitely.
Right. So now you're my friend. All right. So Aditi, tell me. I mean, tell me about your childhood. How exactly you were? Were you shy? Were you, anger? How were you as a kid?
Like, if I have to say, like, I am radically different right now than when I was a child. Like,
Okay.
I was hyperactive as hell. Like my mother tells me, like you wouldn't sit still at all. Like I would run around everywhere, climb trees, climb windows like a monkey, kind of like. I
Right.
would
Right.
play with the boys, like play cricket, play
Ah, okay.
football, etc., run around, and
Right.
like injuries were a part and parcel of my childhood. You can say like everyone was knew me as the local resident tomboy. So I
Ah,
was, the
yeah,
so
right,
on bhai wala behen of the
right,
group. You know.
right.
So,
It's nice,
yeah,
hashtag
like
yeah.
right now I'm totally different from that. But
Okay.
some of my childhood friends who have like met me after a long time, they have said like, so really, Aditi, you are Aditi. Like, we can't believe you, kind of like, you've
Right.
changed like so much.
It's really good. I mean, the vocab that you have used just now, hashtag
Yeah.
bhai wala behan. That's new. That's completely new.
Like,
I don't know if I've
our community at the time was a mixture of different ethnicities, of
right,
different kinds of kids. So
right,
our language kind of mixed up. Like, my mother tongue is Assamese,
right.
and there were a lot of Hindi speaking kids, and then there were tribal kids as well. They spoke English and their own native tongue, so
Right,
it became a like cultural hotspot for us as kids
right,
to just
right,
mix up our language, because that just
right.
happens when you interact, right?
Right. And again, before we move forward, I just want to know, I mean, tell our audience that you're from Assam because,
Yeah.
and as you have mentioned that you climb trees, it's just, we
Yeah.
don't find trees everywhere, nowadays. It's just artificial, because,
Yeah, like
yeah,
it's very
yeah,
far. Like I was lucky, like where I lived in a rented apartment at that time. So
okay,
in our locality, there was a small park. So
right,
that had some trees and two or three houses that we call like old style. We call them Assam style houses. Those had
okay,
a lot of trees, like mango trees or,
hmm
other trees that would have fruits. So that way we could, we would climb trees just to get, fresh ripe
right,
mango, and it would be a like,
right,
uh, great fun. So like I
right,
miss that, because now the concrete culture has become like, it's like no trees everywhere. Everywhere is like just electric poles, buildings,
right,
asphalt. So
right,
it's like that.
and right, and you can't
Even
climb
now we have
electric
some
poles.
trees. Yeah, I'm not athletic anymore.
I know, right? I know, right,
Like,
right, 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 right.
yeah,
But maybe we'll have to start. Maybe we can also go for hashtag save trees from here because it's an experience directly
yeah,
coming.
definitely.
uh, Right, right, right. Nice, nice, nice. So okay, so since you are this fiery child, let's say, you're completely different than what you were now. But I understand. I can see your shadows. I can visualize how exactly you would be back then. A little bit since you have mentioned all the details. So I know how. I mean, that was your childhood, and how was your school days? Was it same? Was it like this, or did something change in your school
Uh,
days?
like, like first, as I say, like kindergarten to like
Hmm.
class 2, 3, I was like kind of the same, very hyperactive, very
Hmm.
fun loving, very
Did you love
extroverted.
going to
Like
school?
I did. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Like my mother used to tell me, like you would play around so much in school. Like my teachers also used to tell me, like you have to sit still. You have to study better. Like don't run around in the classroom or something. But like I love to go to school. Like as a kid, definitely.
Of course.
I
Okay.
think that slowly changed. Like
Mhm.
once you get up past a certain age threshold, you just I don't know, things started to change because I studied in an all girls school, a convent
Mhm.
school. So
Mhm.
like it was always girls. So and the interest of girls once they start, hitting puberty and they start changing their
Right.
tastes and nobody wants to run around and play in the heat anymore, right? So
Right.
most
Right.
of them want to talk about the cool cinema heroes or the latest
Right.
fashion trends or whatever,
Right.
right? And
Right. Right.
so yeah, you can tell how that affected me because
Okay.
in a sense slowly I started realizing that I have to change to match my friend group because
Mhm.
everyone had their own tiny friend group, right? Like there was this one popular girl, and then she had her posse of friends, and then there was this other girls who were like the studious group, and like
Right.
you can tell, right?
Right.
In
Right.
school,
Right.
there is this segregation of people into
Mhm.
groups. So
Mhm.
maybe that's when I started to change to, fit into this stereotype kind of so that I could have, the social interaction I wanted. So that's how
Right.
it started, like me
Mhm.
changing. And that's how I transitioned kind of. And later
Mhm.
on, I realized that, okay, changing myself for that is not ideal. Like I would
Mhm.
lose what I am. So
Right.
that realization came a bit late, but
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
came
Mhm.
eventually. So,
Mhm. 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 Right. 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 Right.
and yeah, that's basically it, kind of.
Right, right, right. So Aditi, you have mentioned that you have mentioned when we started the podcast, you have mentioned that you had an episode of depression or something like that going on with you, which you later realized.
Yeah.
So when did that start? Was it in the same? Was it near the transition? The thing that you have mentioned, or something else?
It was kind of, at first, I didn't realize it that it was like something was wrong with me. I think it was right around 2011, 12. I was
Mm-hmm.
in around class 4 or 5 at the time. What happened is like my reaction to some things was unnecessary anger, aggression, and it was very uncharacteristic of me because uh, I wouldn't normally react that way. And slowly everyone started alienating me because I was not the one who would fit in. And I got into a lot of fights. I remember this one incident where, because one girl, she just told me something which annoyed me a lot. I just took her school bag, and we were in the second floor in the classroom. I just took her school bag and I threw it out of the window. Like that was like an unnecessary reaction because just for one
Mm-hmm.
statement, I shouldn't have reacted that way. And
Right.
slowly, I started to realize, wait. What the hell? I shouldn't be reacting that way, right? Just for
Mm-hmm.
such a small thing, why should I explode in anger? Like,
Right.
so slowly I started realizing that okay, this is not me. Then gradually, due to a bit of situation at our home, like my
Mm-hmm.
paternal grandfather also passed away, and at that time there were tensions running high in the household. And basically my home situation was not good at the time,
Right.
so I think that also was basically the trigger for my outburst.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would take out the pent up emotion that I had in school, that I carried from home, kind of like. And I think when I first realized that, okay, maybe I don't matter that much.
Mm-hmm.
I when I started feeling alone a lot, like I would be the only one left alone during the lunch period, and no one wants to, interact with me, or I would just sit in a corner, etc. Excuse me for a moment.
Yeah, 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 sure. Please.
Yeah, sorry for that. My mother called me a bit.
No, no, that's okay. Yeah.
So like I didn't realize it at first, and when I started lacking social interaction, that's when it hit me. Like, I'm doing something wrong, something is wrong with me. Otherwise, why would so many of my close friends, some friends who have been, like friends from childhood, from class 1, class KG, why would they, just leave me? Then slowly realized that, okay, there is something wrong. But then puberty hit me, and I went from, this healthy, fine, thin, pretty looking girl to this, slightly obese. Like, I would binge eat to, control my stress. Whenever I had stress reaction, I would just eat and eat and eat and eat. So I started putting up a lot of weight,
Mm-hmm.
and that would make me feel super bad because, like, we have this self image, right? Whenever I looked in the mirror, I was like, I look so ugly, I look so bad, I feel bad. So that just went into a negative spiral.
Mm-hmm.
So it started from my body positivity going down, then my grades started going a bit bad, then my lack of social interaction and loneliness, and finally it all spiraled down into, due to, lack of, what can I say, family care. Like, my
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
family dynamics are like super toxic kind of like. So
Okay.
that led to me going to such a point where I felt like, why the hell am I living right now? So it just destroyed my self-esteem so much. Like, it happened gradually, it happened
Mm-hmm.
over a span of 3-4 years. Like, I think my first suicidal, thoughts, or like dark thoughts that would be like,
Mm-hmm.
you should just end yourself, that came around in 2015-16. So I think I have even attempted before, like, I think it was around 2017 or something. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like at that time I didn't realize how I just went into this big downward spiral. So like, there was just two things holding me back, coping mechanisms, if you will. Like, um I loved music, to listen to
Mm-hmm.
music. I'm not a good singer or anything, but music was one of my solaces, if you can say. So that, and I really, really loved, anime and books and manga and other
Mm-hmm.
things in general. So maybe that was like, there was this in the back of my head, wait a second, if I just jump, like, I won't be able to see that next episode from season 2. So like, those are the little things that, just hold you back. Like, I'm like, okay, if I jump from here, I would look really ugly when I die. Like, I am already ugly, I don't want to like be splattered in a bloody mess down on the floor. So like, it was kind of like this one rational brain cell versus the rest of my depressed mindset. So
Mm-hmm.
like, it was like this back and forth. Like, some days I would feel super positive. Okay, I would be very impulsive. I would be like, okay, I can do this. But then the rest of the days I would be like, I don't want to get out of my bed. I just want to melt into, the bed and die, kind of like. It was this pattern.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
it took a long time to realize what is happening. And I think maybe it's because of the internet. I read an article about like depression and psychology, and how Indian kids are like more prone because we don't have a culture of mental health in our society. Because once you mention something about counseling or therapy, people are like, तुम तो पागल हो गए, इसको अभी mental hospital भेजना पड़ेगा. Like this is a very big thing. So that's the
Right. Right.
basic reaction about this. So like it's like it might not be serious, but because of the long time I just kept everything bottled up inside me, it just got worse and worse. Like if you don't have an outlet for your negative emotions and you just keep it inside you, it just aggregates into something more bad. So that's
Right.
kind of what happened. And I think the way I got better was for me online platforms. Like I joined a lot of international forums
Hmm.
and chats where people would speak about their experiences, and I read a lot of articles. I watched YouTube videos, etc. And slowly I started to realize, okay, this is not something that I am alone
Right.
suffering
Right.
in. There are
Right.
a lot of people going through that. So I think that was one of the positive things that helped me get out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 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 Of course. Hmm. Right, right. So, I mean, you have mentioned that you have tried YouTube, let's say, you have tried many things, to cope with it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I just wanted to ask, when it actually hits you, when it actually hits you, let's say, you're just there, good and fine, and then suddenly there's an impulse, and you're feeling all lonely again, or back into your place where you are getting sad, or lonely, or something like that. So, I just want to know, how would you come with an idea to come on, let's go and cope with it? I mean, how do you push yourself? Because I'm sure when that hits in, I'm sure you would again be slow, and you could just wander
Yes,
in your own
yes,
thoughts. But then, how
definitely.
would you push yourself from that phase to again being normal, or trying to at least to cope up things or something like that?
For me, I don't know if the solution would work with everyone, but like I mentioned, I love books and anime and manga and like media in general.
Hmm.
So first of all, if that happens when I'm at home, that's the well and good, because at home I can easily access. I can put on my headphones and I can like play whatever music I can to just distract myself from that thought, or I could watch a funny comedic video or something just to pull myself out of that. But like when it happened mostly in school, I would just like, if possible, I would go to a library and take out a book just to read and just to dissociate myself kind of from that thought. But more often than not, I would just you know it's separating my thought in the foreground. I would analyze it like, okay, where is this thought coming from right now? What triggered that thought? Uh like it's not easy at first, like it will be a jumbled mess inside your head. But once you start to realize, okay, I this particular reason like started this negative thought, then I would just isolate my thought that way, and just I'll keep it in the side of my head. I know, okay, I am having this thought, but I would just focus on what I'm doing right now. Like for example, if I'm in class, I'm like, okay, I need to focus on my class right now. I might not be successful in it at first.
Right, right,
The thought will be ringing a big bell in the back of my head,
right,
but I try not to pay my attention to that thought. And
right,
that way, slowly over the years, I got used to like my depressing thought just sitting, for example, on my side, and I'm here and I'm like, you know what, I cannot deal with this right now. I have to focus on my tasks, so I'm gonna do it that
right,
way. And I will take a healthy headspace, then I will let
right.
it stew away at that moment. And I think meditation as well, it helps a lot. Like I used a lot of those meditating apps. Nowadays you can get that.
Right.
uh, I would just every morning before I just went to school, I would play a simple meditation, and I would just at that moment I will just clean up my head. Like, okay, if I have any negative thoughts about waking up, about going to school, about what will happen, all my anxieties, I would just try to cleanse that up. Meditation
Right.
helps a lot. And then I would go to school. Like after coming back from school as well, like I would like give myself 10 minutes of time. I will sit like, or I would lie down in bed and I'll just close my eyes and like, okay, what are the thoughts that I went through today? So that's one method. I also kept a lot of diaries, like
Right.
whenever
Journaling.
something bad happened. Yeah, journaling basically. Like
Right.
I would just write down, okay, so this happened. I felt bad, or I just had this unnatural jealousy, or I just felt so much anger. I just felt, like numbness or whatever. I would just put the date, put what happened during the day, and I'll just put my thoughts, what happened. That just makes you feel lighter, like once you
Mhm.
put it in words somewhere, it just takes up about 40% of the burden, because somehow I think most of us just want to, get out of that situation in which we are in. So I think
Right.
it's more about the circumstances. Like I think there was this quote from an Arabian poet. I saw it online. He said that if you feel suicidal, try to drown yourself at sea. Your body will start fighting for air. It's
Right.
not that you want to kill yourself, it's that you want to kill your circumstances. I think that
Right.
quote inspired me a lot, because
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, exactly. Like I have things I look forward to in life. Like I want
Right.
to finish my studies, I want to have a good job, I want to travel, I love traveling. So the COVID hit me bad, so because I loved traveling, and 2 years of staying inside due to the pandemic was like very bad.
Right.
And I have so many things I want to do. So why should I try to kill myself? Then I thought,
Right.
okay, so I want to change myself, my circumstances, my thought, my thinking procedure, like that. So
Right.
it's a lot of ways that you can cope.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Like
Understood.
my
Understood.
main anchor has always been, distracting myself with media, jumping from one obsession to another.
Mhm. All right. Aditi, you have mentioned in between that your family isn't the ideal one who would who would want, or let's say the situation, the circumstances, of course. So, did you ever try to confront, or did you ever try to speak to your family? Because as a child, and even now, I think family is
Yeah,
biggest
like
support we can get. So, did you ever try to get that support or confront?
about the support. Once I, like, when I was like in class 11, 12, like it would be like fairly recently, you can say, like around 2018, 19, I asked my mother, like, hey, I actually want to try to get some, counseling or therapy for myself. Like, I think that would help me to, clear my
Right.
head for my class 12 finals, because that's a big exam, right? So at the time, her reaction was, do you really need that? Like, I am already going through so much shit because of you. Like, excuse my language. I'm sorry. Like,
It's
the
okay.
tone I have to convey it, right?
All right.
So, like, can you not just, suck it up a bit? Like, I am trying my best to hold this household together, and I cannot deal with this right now. So, that was kind of my mother's response to this. Like,
All right.
she herself is super depressed and stuff. Like,
Right.
like I have to act as part-time counselor for her somewhat sometimes. Like overall, my mom is like super good. Like I would say she is the only member of the household I like. So, and my dad, well, he reacted as he always does. That is, throw stuff at me and then scream his lungs out. So he proceeded to say like, um, have you gone mad? Have you gone insane? Do we like everyone will now speak about this, and then bang through the stool, bang through the remote. Then that was like pandemonium basically. So that happened. So after that, I just never spoke up about needing therapy, etc. ever again, because I just knew that as for confrontation, normally I sometimes try to diffuse the situation whenever some argument or something happens, because I know that things will get thrown and broken and stuff, and like it's not a good situation to be in, right?
Right.
But nowadays I have just like, yeah, I'm not involved in this anymore. I would just go inside my own room or something, because like me being there just makes it worse, kind of like I cannot diffuse the situation that well. So I have just like, for maintaining the peace in the household, I try, but like whatever happens happens. I can't help it now. Like both,
Right.
my dad is a bit, stubborn, and typical Indian dads, kind of like add that with a bit of narcissism, anger issues, uh childishness, impulsiveness, bad decision making, etc., and put in a blender and you get my dad, kind of like. So that's that.
Right. Right.
Like it's not a pleasant thing to talk about, but
Right.
it
Right.
is
I
what
understand.
happens.
Right. 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 I know.
So
I just
that's what
hope
happens.
situation gets better. And of course, I'm sure your mom is really lucky to have you because, as you have mentioned, that you sometimes try to talk to her, or you're not
Like
like.
I am in a sense lucky to have her, because she has been kind of like the only stable parental figure in my life, and from childhood till now she has been the one paying my school bills, my tuition fees, every fees. She would do all of the housework as well. She works as a teacher as well. So from the morning she goes out, in the evening she comes and she works around the clock to kind of make the household run. So
Right.
like I respect her a lot, but sometimes she has a bit of an old view on things, like
Right.
it
Understood.
isn't easy to change the viewpoint of someone who has always known that viewpoint.
Right. Right. Of
So
course. Of
like
course. Of
she
course.
is so very progressive, because like she got an education when she was like, she was from a very 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 inner village, from Sibsagar. And at that time, when she was young, I know because my cousins and their mothers have told me as well. At that time, girls didn't used to get education, but
Right.
my maternal grandfather, he was a wise man who thought that both my sons and my daughters should get an education. That is why my mother could, come out from that inner village to this Guwahati city, and then she could have a good job and, a stable life, kind of.
Right.
So in a sense, her family is quite progressive for her time. So I would say that I'm kind of lucky, because she is open minded about some things, like for my
Right.
education, and giving me freedom for other things. Like I would say, because most girls nowadays, like, uh just today I went out by myself to my friend's house, and it's like took my own scooter. I just went out. It's the evening, but she was like, "Okay, you come back by 7 p.m." She won't call me that much. She won't worry that much. Like, okay, I know you will come back at that time. Like, she gives me that much freedom to
Freedom.
do
Right.
things.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Right. Right. Good. Good.
It's a mixture
Uh,
of good and bad in my house.
r- right. 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 But I think, I mean, of course, you're saved. Sometimes we can't blame them. If you look at the whole picture, the way they have been
Yeah,
brought up as well.
exactly.
That plays a role as well, and it's tough to actually change people's mindset. I think India is still India today. In a place we're still struggling to make sure that things happen in the right way, even now. And I think, yeah, it will take definitely lots of time. I have seen or perhaps experienced myself, I'm sure, not prominently, but yes, definitely with people having different mindsets or sometimes problematic mindsets can make a problem in our lives. And I'm sure it's high time, for us to help them also to understand and educate others as well. So we are here. And I just want to ask you, Aditi, how's your situation now? I mean, since you have been, having certain issues, and I'm sure you didn't go to the counseling, of course, because there were certain rascals happened. So yeah, so how did you deal with it after it, and how's it going now?
I was like I said, I use various means to cope. Like my most frequently used method being, anime and,
Right.
other forms of entertainment media, kind of like. I also used to channel a lot of my negative feelings into my own stories. I write
Mm.
online.
Oh,
It's
nice, nice.
a story that I just wrote on a whim, like in a sense, the protagonist, I put a bit of myself in her,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
my
mm-hmm.
negative traits and stuff. Like, I would just put her into like different situations, and I would be like, I imagine like a role play game, right? I would
Right.
do this or that, use my
Mm-hmm.
imagination, and I think writing has always been a bit cathartic to me. I love to imagine different situations. Like my imagination has always been my strong point, kind of like, because I fantasize about different worlds a lot. Like sometimes I think maybe if we had a parallel world and I would go there and we would have
Right.
dragons and swords and I would be, holding a flaming sword and
Right.
fight a dragon, like those things are like such a, it feels
Right.
cool.
Right.
It makes you feel
Right.
like, oh my god, I'm a superhero now. So, so writing, for me, that has been a major way I have coped. And sometimes, whenever I'm like, going through a bit too much of the down, and like I'm functioning pretty well, like I do my work, I go to my college, I have my classes, etc. I'm a bit lazy. That's a bad consequence, but I'm like, okay, fine, I'm lazy, but I'm doing my work, so it's fine. So I
Right.
rationalize it like that.
Right.
But
Of course.
anyways, so yeah, I would just put on my headphones, I would put a epic soundtrack, I would take my diary, take a pen, I'll start writing a new stories chapter or something. That way you just get out all of the negative feelings. And once you start writing, right, it just flows out and out and out. It's not properly edited, of course, but like once you get everything out, then you're refreshed. So that's how
Right.
I mostly cope. And always looking at, new unique things. Like I watch a lot of anime, as I said, and watching those fight scenes, those cool
Right.
shows. Like
Right.
once
Right.
you see, like for example, I think everyone mostly knows Naruto. Like everyone,
Right.
if you see that Naruto final battle and you're like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like you
Right.
forget about your depression. It's like even
Right.
depression persona takes a popcorn and like sits and watches. Like, oh my god, that's so interesting. I want to know more. So,
Right.
like I imagine myself as like my persona on one side, depressive persona on one side, and we are like, you know what? Truce. We'll
Right.
enjoy this episode. We'll
Right.
write and we'll be in truce for now. And
Right.
then
Right. Right.
that's how it goes. It might
Right.
sound funny, but I
I
use my
understand.
imagination like that.
Right, right. That's something really beautiful, actually. If it helps you, then yeah, why not? Definitely.
Yeah,
And right, since I've also mentioned anime, we're going to have another conversation again. We'll be talking only about anime because I am also a big fan of anime. I
definitely.
watch a lot, and I definitely know what season are you in Naruto. Did you complete the whole season? By the I mean, did you complete the whole episode?
Uh, Actually, I have been watching anime for like over 12 years. So I think I have completed all of Naruto, etc. And nowadays, I directly read the manga or some other things. The novels, the light novels, web novels, etc.
Right,
Uh,
right.
I think I've watched over 2,000 animes by now, like
Oh, okay.
2,000 episodes. Yeah.
Oh, all right. At least
Yeah.
episodes.
Like
I
my
was like
friends
shocked.
also laugh at me, like, girl, you're obsessed.
Mhm. Nice, nice. I mean, yeah, well and good then. And yeah, so I just wanted to add upon again, since I've mentioned, of course, things are virtual now, social media, thanks to social media, we are all closer now. We can understand, talk, communicate. It's way much easier than it was back then or something, few years before. I just want to tell you that we also have Project C Foundation also has certain initiatives with it. We have something called as Project Friend, where it's a 24/7 service basically, where you can just dial up or send a small hi to one of our, I mean, to the social media platforms we're present in, and one of our executives will talk to you and make sure you're comforted and you're felt that warm feeling that you're at home, because they basically listen to you, they understand, and then if at all there's certain need, they'll also help you with the healing process as well. So yeah, so I just wanted to tell you that, and if at all in the future you have any problems, you can definitely come to Project Friend, and I'm sure they'll help you out as well. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
All
heard
right.
all of it, but like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
dad
yeah.
just,
No, no, I understood.
like
No
my
worries.
video is rolling, so I just like told him
It
that
should be.
I'm
It should be.
rolling.
It would be really great.
So
I'm going to edit this part and show it what exactly goes on. The podcasting life as well. I'm just talking and you're like,
yeah,
I'll just do that.
yeah,
All
I
right.
know. I think you notice when I'm recording on the phone, so like I
Right.
do a
Right.
lot of movement when I talk,
Right.
so
Right.
my
Right. Right.
camera is like moving a lot.
Right.
I
Right.
know that.
Right.
Like my
Right.
friends also tell me, whenever you talk, you move your hands a lot. So
Right.
that's
Right.
just my quirk, kind of like.
Right.
And
One of your
it's great
quirk.
to
Right.
hear that you guys have such a good social media influence. And I have seen the other podcast episodes on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel, and it has been a lot. It's been great. I loved seeing it. I want to see more of this series. Like,
Right.
okay, I am participating, and it's like exciting to see this kind of initiative being taken,
Right.
right? Like, I have shared it to a lot of my other friends, and they have also said that yeah, we should have more of this kind of content, because
Right.
I think a lot of them, a lot of Indian youth, especially my age people, they are like they have a lot of repressed anxieties and depression and stuff. Like
Right. Right.
I know
Right.
a few of them. So most of the feedback I have gotten about this is super positive. So I want to just tell it to you because you guys are doing a great job about this. Like it's a great initiative, and I send my blessings towards you so that you guys have a better,
Definitely. Definitely.
more and more influence you should get about this.
Right, right. Definitely would love that. We love your blessings. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just good when people get happy, or at least someone watch an episode and try to understand something. I think that is what we try to do. And if it's happening, then yeah, I think why not? I think that's the best thing that
Like
we can do.
it's going to be a bit slow in the beginning, but once it gets out, word gets out about this, I assure you a lot of people will want to watch it, because I have just shared it to my college groups and other groups, but the reception so far has been great. They like
Right,
it because like this kind of content is, I don't know, because as far as I know, a lot of young people, they feel that my concerns are not heard, because like there is
right,
a big generation gap between us and
right,
our parents, because like we have gone through like from that big ass old computer console to hand phone to a small typing phone to now big cell phones. So I think now that we are an internet savvy generation, like our media platform, like it's not about television or something. Nowadays most of us are on social media, YouTube,
right.
Spotify, etc., right? So this has a lot of potential to reach out to a lot of people, I think.
Right, it will. Thanks a lot, and thanks, Aditi. Thanks for being the part of this episode. And I'm sure people will love you. People will love your story, and they'll try to gather lots of knowledge. If at all you have shared many things to cope up. I'm sure they'll understand, and maybe they'll get themselves help, or at least we can be of some help for them as well. And thanks for your time, Aditi. Thanks a lot.
Definitely, I have been, like, I can say I'm glad to have been a part of this.
Thank you, Aditi. Thanks a lot. Same here. All right, guys. So